Surprise!
Random live stream! Indeed, it is another random live stream. Not random in the sense that, well, kind of random in the sense that they pop up randomly, but also the content is somewhat randomized, even though it is also not random. Anyway, tonight, at this time, we are looking at one instrument, which is actually not one, but two. I'm talking, of course, about Native Instruments, the Giant. This is based on a very tall, upright grand piano. This is the... I'm going to mess up the name on it here. I did a video about this earlier in... Actually, that was last year. Anyway, it is based off of a Clavins. That's it. The Clavins Mark something. It's Mark 3 something. There's now a Mark 450M something, which is even taller, and I would really like to play one. But this is as close as I get to playing it, so let's dive in. Here we are in the magical land of Reaper, and we have the Giant. Now, I said in my deep dive into the grandeur that the Giant kind of started off this sort of layout of the three sections. We have the tone, the anatomy, and space. But now that I think of it, maybe it was Alicia's Keys that did that. I have to go back and view my Native Instruments history. But I don't have Alicia's Keys, so here we are. Our three sections that we find up front are the tone section, the anatomy section, and the space section. Now this one, unlike the Definitive Piano Collection, has these bright blue knobs that show up and tell us whether the section is powered on or not. All right? So, immediately as you open up the instrument, you have these three sections. Tone, anatomy, space, and our nice blue powered light. All right, which space is turned on by default in the Giant, and that is if I were to turn the space off, still a very live sound with the sound board of the Giant. So this does give us a little bit of space, so let's go with distance, max it out here. Okay, still not too much. Let's hit the size. Interesting. Doesn't appear to be changing much. Because we have to increase the amount, and then we'll have it. Here we go. Well, apparently this concert hall is not very big. Let's see what else we got. We got, like in the other ones, the Taj Mahal. Well, there, it did something. That hit my ears pretty hard. Okay, so if we reset this back down to what it was before, what was it at? Well, let's see. It's about like that. Size there. And Concert Hall 3 is just not a very big sound then. Okay. I think I woke it up or something. It wasn't doing anything. There we go. And then we have, of course, our Giant Reza, which is the... All right. right, and we have several others. So let's see, cathedral, church, chapel, studio. Let's go with the studio. Should we go big, medium, little? Yeah, let's go big. Okay, now distance, I think this is, it controls the amount of pre-delay. So this is how much dry sound you have before it kicks in. Crank it down. Sort of immediately in the space. Size is, of course, the virtual size of the room. All right. That would be the smallest possible room. Okay, so there's many things you can do. Let's see, presets. Ooh. Now these are presets for the Giant itself, and you could begin with just these presets, right? So, and then it'll adjust these settings for you. Let's reset. Oh, I could have just hit the reset button. How about that? Okay, so we'll look at the presets in a minute. Right now, let's look at tone. And in the tone section, we have our compressor, our low keys, XXL amount. Now this is specific to the Giant, the XXL. As you can tell, the low keys have an exceptionally big sound. And the reason for that is this thing is 12 feet tall, and so each of these strings, actually the longest string, which is not that one, but probably this one, is 9 feet long, which is the length of most grand pianos. So it has a richer, bigger sound. Seems that they recorded it it seems bright to me as well. So it's not just massive, but it is bright. Now, hit the XXL button. Turn it off. So it's huge already, but this XXL button, it gives it more, let's see, sustain space, more liveliness. Using, oh, okay, so it's using the transient master effect. Transient master is it's like a compressor limiter effect by Native Instruments. So, ooh, so much more rich. So we can give it more of that. That's too much, I think, but you get the idea. Here's less. I'll turn it off. Okay. So I'll keep it about in the middle. That seems right. Or if we want to put it back, I want to see it reset again, right? Okay. Equalizer, and of course, this can do different things. Now we'll turn the body up as we do. And, there we go. Way too much body, but unless you want that effect, and that's the beauty of it. Now this has 20 dB of throw, just like the other pianos. So that's a lot. 20 dB louder or softer is a big amount. So here we go. This takes away all the body. Sounds kind of thin and radio-like, but all right. Now in this case, I know let's just put it back to 0, which is neither boosting or cutting. All right, so here we have the low keys section. Oh, before we do that, we have our bass, the obligatory bass test, which you can't see. Let me show it to you. Okay, I have the bass now cranked up to 20 dB. All right, minus 20. You get the idea. Can I? No, I can't double click set it. That's other things. There we go. 0. Whoop. I think this is so nice already. I almost don't want to do anything to it. And then we have our air. I wonder how long that string is. Probably the picture would give me an idea. Okay, so turn it down. You can tell because on an acoustic piano, this is any piano, by the way. On any acoustic piano, there's a part where the dampers are, where there's no dampers over the strings, and that would be at the top. You can kind of hear it comes in at this octave. Now, if I were to release the dampers with a sustain pedal, all right. So we'll put this back to the middle again at a nice healthy 0, either boosting or cutting. There we go. Okay, I will give it maybe a little bit of body. It doesn't really seem to need it, but just for the fun of it. Touch of air, touch of bass. It doesn't really need that either, but I shouldn't say it doesn't need it because it depends on the sound you're going for. And for me, that's plenty for this purpose. All right, now our low keys. As we know, the low keys will change the volume of the keys below middle C, and we can increase it, and it has this handy little visual here, so they will get progressively louder just by playing them, right? Now we can see my hands playing normal. And it just gets progressively louder. Now, tell it to make them progressively softer. All right, and that's without changing how I'm playing. I'm playing very slowly, well, very lightly. So we'll give it a tiny raise. It doesn't need a whole lot. Now, our third section in this tone category will be our compressor. Now, there are different compressors. Right now, I've just turned it on with the blue light, but it's not working yet. And it won't begin to work until we change the amount knob, and this gives us the amount of compression. Now, it's just one knob. You can't... Okay, we can learn MIDI CC automation, but you can't change it to... You can't change the attack and release functions of this compressor. A pop compressor tends to be a little bit louder than some of the others. Let's see, we got limiting. Now this doesn't have as many as some of the other pianos. We got limiting. Okay, in this case, it's the limiting one that's louder. That seems to be having it as loud as it can possibly be, and then when you get up near the top, it's crunching on that sound. sounds really good. All right. Now, let's see. We got Pump It Up. Now that might also be... Okay. You can hear it. You can hear it release on the end of the sound, and that is very aggressive. It says Pump It Up, so what do you expect? Now we have the soft compressor, and this, as you can see by the line, is a little bit gentler than some of the others. See, that's got a kind of an elbow to it. Not as much as the limiter or the Pump It. Soft compressor. So this will be like a gentle curve. So that's another nice setting. Let's see, limiting, and that kind of lets it get to the top of the spectrum before it starts compressing it. At the spectrum, the top of the volume. The name will come to me. All right, so that is our tone section. Now we have the anatomy section. Now the anatomy contains all the parts of the piano that make it piano-like. All right, so right now, let's see, we have the release samples on. This is the thing that makes it sound like a real piano. If we were to turn that off, okay, this is the damper coming down after you release, so very plasticky. Sounds like any keyboard sample. Turn this back on. Okay, now in this one we can actually adjust the length of the decay. Here it says short. Let's put it to long. Short by default. Let's put it back to short. Short is nice because you can do quick passages like... right, and then it doesn't... yeah, it's short passages. It mutes fairly quickly. It's a nice effect. All right, one thing I didn't talk about, which we'll get back to, is the knobs that are immediately available before you open up these sections, but we'll get to that. So, and a little bit later on, we'll get to our second instrument that I mentioned at the beginning. So we got our hammers. Now, by default, they are at -30, all of these mechanical noises. So we just did release samples. Here are our noises. So these are the things that make it feel more like a real piano. Of course, it was a real piano, it was sampled, but you get the idea. Okay. Now, as usual, I'm going to turn them up to the maximum just so you can hear them. Okay. Then we got our dampers. Now these dampers, you'll hear as you depress the pedal. So, dampers leaving the strings. Dampers returning to the strings. Okay. Kind of a nice scuff sound. We'll go down here to the pedal. This is going to have the chunk sound. In this case, it's a boom because it's such a big piano. Could almost make a bass drum out of that. Okay, and then we have our strings. Now this is when the dampers leave the strings. They pull on the strings a little bit, and it makes this sound. So here we go. Now, together with the pedal and the damper, the string sound is the effect you get from pressing the sustain pedal. Very harmonious, I know. And then we have the hammers. Okay. let's go back down to a little bit more of a normal sound. So hammers we'll put back to the default of -30. And again, you can however you like to have them. Some music has the hammers rustling a bit louder. So damper I'm going to bring down till I like the sound of it. Oh, okay. I can't think when I hear those others, so let's turn them down. It's about right. Pedal. String. Okay, I like that. Okay, half pedaling and repedaling. Okay, repedaling. If the sustain pedal is depressed during a note release, the remaining sound sustains. Let's try that. Oh, wait. You can kind of hear it. It's a very subtle... Oh, wait, I don't even have it turned on. I might turn it on. Very subtle, I can still hear it. Okay, sometimes that backfires and it does these weird things when I'm pressing the sustain pedal, perhaps not correctly. Now our half pedal enables the use of a continuous sustain pedal for half pedaling. On a piano, you can decide how far the dampers are lifted from the strings, or in the case of some pianos, they're kind of moved off to the side a bit. And this affects the release time and amount of resonance. For half pedaling, you need a continuous sustain pedal. And it goes on. I don't have a continuous sustain pedal, so I cannot demonstrate this feature. Okay, let's turn on. We'll wait to do that one. We'll do the silent key. And just above that, we have our velocity control. So this is pretty linear and relates to how the sound gets progressively louder. So for example, louder or softer. Okay. Go hardest, it'll get quickly louder. Let me just show you how I'm playing so you can get the idea. Let's put it back to linear, which is that straight line. So you can see right here, linear. Then we go back to the hardest velocity, again, using extreme examples to illustrate. It doesn't take much as I'm digging into the keys how I was before. That's much, much louder. Okay, so we probably don't want it to be at the hardest velocity. Unless that's what you want. You want it to get up there really quick. It's a bit much. Okay. Soft velocity. Now that's almost the reverse of that, isn't it? And that could work for another type of playing. And as it says in the notes here, It gives you access to the velocity presets for customizing the velocity response to your keyboard and your way of playing. So some keyboards respond better that way. Complete controls, you can see that one gets... My personal favorite is the linear velocity. Now, we mentioned the silent key. That is a feature that is true on acoustic pianos. I will say most acoustic pianos, just in case there's an odd one that doesn't, but every acoustic piano that I've played on has this feature. And that is that as you press down the key very lightly, it will make absolutely no sound. Now, this is with the feature turned off, so as we press down lightly, you can hear a little bit of sound. Let's turn the feature on. And there it responds just like an acoustic piano. This is something as a kid I played around with, which is why it's just so cool to me, the little details like that. So now we get to test something else related to that, and that is the overtones or the sympathetic resonance. Now, by default, it's in the middle. I tend to leave it there. You can experiment with turning it up or down. So this is basically the sympathetic resonance, which means, in layman's terms, skipping over that description, when we hold our silent key with our silent key down like that, and we play the right notes down here, the corresponding ones, we'll hear these ones that I'm holding down vibrate or ring. Happens to be these down here. So, let's try it here. It'll do that all over the piano. That's part of what makes it sound lively. It says liveliness. Lively, real. Okay, now that we've covered, I believe, all of these sections here, we're going to talk about the knobs that are immediately available right here. We have our tone. We'll push it. I'll just wake it up a bit here. Okay. So this changes the color or timbre from soft to hard by readjusting the sample mapping. So we've turned it to the right, and that should make the instrument sound harder. Does it ever? Turning it to the left will make it sound warmer and softer with less attack. Okay. Now, our dynamic range, turn it to the left, compresses it, and it keeps the overall volume constant. So if we turn it to the right, keep the overall volume constant. Okay. Oh no, the whole thing. Turning left compresses or it expands it. It keeps the overall volume constant, whichever way you turn it. So we just turned it right, that expands it, which means it's a huge amount of range. Yes, the sympathetic, I can speak. The sympathetic resonance is cool. It's one of my favorite features on software pianos, and it's just physics on the real one, the acoustic pianos. So let's see. So we just have a huge amount of range from really soft just that little bit. There's so much range, all right? Now, we can bring it down the opposite way, compress it. Now, I think it's actually putting all of the sounds through this because I hear... Yeah. So let's try this. I generally like this effect. It's distorting a little bit. Let me speak to that here. Okay, so now that we've been through all of these sections, we've gone through tone, we've gone through anatomy, we've gone through space, and we're getting ready to look at that second instrument I talked about. But before we go there, let's have a run through some of the presets. Right? So that was a custom one, and if I wanted to save it, I could go here and I could call it maybe just saved it as a user. Oh, I need it. It's waiting for me to type. Smart thing. Soft giant. Now this is really hard for me to read. Okay. Okay. So now that is right here. Oh, I actually accidentally saved a couple resets. Can I remove them? No, I can't. Or can I? Let's see. There we go. We only need one reset. Okay. So reset, and then with this very hard to read white font, you can see as it turns dark when you go down. That is a setting I just created. Okay. Let's look at the presets that already exist. So we have the basic giant, and this gives you a starting point. Let's see, what have they done? They got, okay, the keys like that. That's a 3 for more body. And, right. Now just a volume match, I'm actually going to turn this up. Basic giant, and we're going to use the same passage in order to Pop Giant. So this will likely turn on the, okay, we got all the sounds on here. Oh, let's see. Basic Giant, does that have all our anatomy on? No, just the release samples, okay. And it didn't have the compressor on. Okay, so let's go to Pop Giant, or Giant Pop. This is, as you may have guessed, for pop music. Alright, we got bass, body. There's a lot of body on there. The pop compressor, not too much, right? Because we don't want to crush the sound too much. And see, it's got this on. We don't got the extra pedal things, but that's, you know. Much brighter than the basic. Look at All That Jazz. Space is turned off. What do we got here? We got mechanics on. All right. Very few of them I notice are using a silent key or the pedal functions, which is interesting. Okay. Concert hall. So it's Concert Hall 3. We got some distance. We got some amount. Size is relatively small there. What else do we have going on? Nothing else. Okay. It is unlikely that you would hear the mechanics of the piano from that distance that this is not illustrating, the distance that this is simulating, for us. So let's go down to, lots of noise. I wonder if that's got all the noises on. Yeah, it does. Okay. Hammer stuff doesn't have the pedal noises on. So these are good starting points. Okay, we're going louder on the bass. No, and the bass is turned up. Okay. Let's hear it. So you hear the anatomy sounds are quite loud, especially the damper sounds and strings and the pedal. Okay, we'll do one more and then let's see, should we go emotional or hard and tough? That is the question. Let's go with emotional. Now, as you can see right here, it's got the tone towards soft like I did, and the dynamic range is not quite as hard left as I made it, but it's just a little bit softer, a little more. We got a large hall, it's very emotional sound. Ironic that I said that. I think the title's got into my head. Okay. All right. And now we will take a look at the other instrument which I mentioned. Okay. Our second instrument. And that is that. You can already see the name of it there, so it's probably not too shocking. There we go. The Giant. But what's different about it? This is the Cinematic Giant. So this is what they refer to as the alter ego, and it's basically a bunch of noises from which you can construct rhythms, patterns, pads, ambiances. Some of them are a little scary, or ominous sounding, I should say. Wow. I wonder, honestly, what they used to make that sound. Because it's kind of interesting. Okay, so we have, and this is the section I have not played around with as much because I've been playing with the newer pianos. I kind of got, shall we say, distracted by all the immediacy of the effects. Now this would take a little bit more getting used to, but as you can see, you have deep controls. We have our overtone control, envelope for those, and we have attack, decay, sustain, release, or ADSR. And we have our filter, our massive filter, so it's letting 26 hertz to 19.9 kilohertz. That is almost the full range. And we could say that we want a low pass at about this, so. This is only on the resonance, okay, not the overtones. So, yeah. Release, plucked, noises, and you got the volumes of each volume knob. So, the volume of the samples, and you can edit them here, the overtones, resonance, release, plucked, and noises. Right now, the source we're using is noises. We can go to plucked. Oh, we can turn them all on if we wanted. So let's see. This is fun, man. Look, it is a whole other instrument. So let's go with release. That should be interesting. I'm afraid myself is louder than. Let's see what we got here. Let's bring it back over. There you go. Okay, let's try the resonances. our final thing is overtones, and then we'll look at some presets on this because it's almost like harmonics. Now, if we turn them all on, this is going to be chaotic, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. It is a little bit chaotic. And then we have our convolution, which is, let's see, giant resonance. We're using crystal reso. And we have a, let's see what fat reso sounds like. Okay. Let's take a gander at some of those presets. Harp piano. So that's turned on. What is it turned on for us? Just those. Overtones and resonances. Okay, and the name kind of informed how I played that. Now, you can do settings, type a name, hit the save, and you can have a new preset just like before. So let's listen to a couple more of these. Let's see, we got drone in A, so this must be in the key of A. I wonder what's keeping it in. Oh, it's this effect that keeps it in the key of A more or less all the time. Right. Okay. Ooh. Panned groove. Okay, so we see what the convolution can do now. Okay, this is I have to try a couple more now. Let's see. Kind of makes me think of the fast-moving metronome that I see in that picture. Smoothie, timed, a timed smoothie, very nice. I think they had fun naming these. Okay, let's see, phosphorescence. Okay, now this sound, let's see, Waterphone Instruments, they probably also did some things with our release, yeah, with the overtones. Okay, yeah, played with the ADSR on these sounds. So we got release, resonances, and plucked. So these three, these are not playing currently, the overtones, but... So with this... Now, in the demos for the Giant, they actually use this sound. It was at the beginning, and then had a very interesting, what more detailed can I get than interesting? It was actually a rather pleasant piece to listen to, which you can find on the website and look it up. Listen to it. If you are like me and like to just listen to sounds, even if you don't end up actually buying it. I did buy it eventually, which is why I have it now. So, ooh, that's cool. Yeah, it's not as playable as some of the others, but it is. I like I could see using this in a piece, a score. That one is a little sharp. And again, it's timed, and we've got a kick delay, so that's a vortex. Very well named. Let's do just one more tremolo space. Okay, this makes me think of something on a computer really quickly scrolling, and it's kind of makes me laugh just hearing it. All right. Now, let's see, what else do we have? Just maybe one more. Pulsing light. I think that other one I had was a little more playable. Solitude. There we go. Oh, here we go. Okay, we'll go back to something a little more melodic. But this just shows a whole other world with this instrument, and it's I can see using this in some other contexts, and I wish I'd really dug into it sooner instead of kind of just sitting on it. But I'm doing it now. All right. Back to our original here. Let's see. So if I go here, soft giant, and then put it back to the middle as we go here. I think I don't want this space. Let's check what limiter. I have that limiter on. Maybe I do want it a little bit softer. So let's play with that. Volume match it. Okay, and then we can call this, what can we call this? Supposed to be gentle and giant, so giantal. Why not? Okay. I'm going to look comments briefly. Okay. Greetings from Chile. Thank you. Jaime. I'll say Jaime. And Sharon, my wife, says sympathetic resonance is cool. I responded to that one already. But okay. Well, thank you for joining me. If there are any other things, any curiosities about this, you can let me know. I'm going to play a little bit more. And here we go. Kind of hear that half pedal repedaling rather kicking in on some of those keys. Let's see if I turn it off for the time being. It wasn't that. Let me turn it back on. Alrighty. Thank you for joining me. I will be doing, let's see, I've come to the end of our exploration of the 6 piano instruments that I have in my library. And so I'll be looking to explore and deep dive into more instruments in the future after I get some sleep. And you should too. Well, if it's late where you are. Alright, friends, thank you for joining me. See you in the next video, fam.